सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। We continue our study, shloka number 44 in Swami Chinmayanandaji's commentary. Astyupayo mahan kaschit samsara bhayanashanah tena tirtva bhayam bodhim paramanandamapsyasi. So the phala is given, the fruit of this Vedanta sadhana and reaching. Why have Vivek? Why have Vairagya? Why have Samadhi Shat Sampatti? Why have Mumukshutvam? So that we can realize the self, which is the self of all. Why should I realize the self? So that I can come out of the ocean of transmigration, which is smitten with pain and sorrow, negatively, and positively over here it is said Paramanandamapsyasi, that I attain my own Nijaswarup, my own nature of absolute bliss. Apsyasi, you shall attain, we will. So second person, you shall attain Paramanandam apsyasi. Asti upayaha mahan kaschit. So there exists upay, it means mahan, great, samsara bhaya nashanah, this great samsara bhaya nashanah, this massive ocean of samsara. But the bhaya nashanah, it will destroy the fear of samsara. So living in the samsara, yet there will be no fear of samsara. And when there is no fear of samsara, when the mind has completely silenced, intellect has known the absolute, that mind, intellect, even though when it goes through the remainder of its prarabdha, it clearly knows that the prarabdha is to the sharira and it is not to the me. I am the higher I am, the self, and having known that, fear disappears. So samsara bhaya nashanaha, it will destroy it. Tena tirtva maham bodhim, and this great ocean of samsara, tirtva, having crossed it, bhavam bodhim, this ocean, paramanandam apsyasi, you shall attain this paramananda, is what is said over here. Continuing, Vedantartha vicharena jayate jnanamuttamam tenatyantika samsara dukkhanasho bhavatyanu. So, Vedanta Artha vicharena, vicharena, by engaging in the inquiry, vichar, inquiry, and what is the inquiry on? Vedanta Artha, the deeper imports of the teachings of Vedanta. Vedanam antim nirnayaha iti Vedantaha, of all the knowledge that exists, Vedanam, which is to be known, antim nirnayaha, we reach the very end of knowing. There is no more to know. In fact, knowing which all is known, is etc. etc. is what the Upanishad says, that Vedanta Artha, the very deeper imports, the highest is Jiva Brahma Aikya Vakya, Mahavakya. Jiva Brahma Aikya, this Jiva and this absolute Brahman, Brahma Aikya, the Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. This Jiva, nothing greater than this Atma, it is Atma itself. And that very subtle, the aphorisms of Vedanta as well as the Mahavakya of the Upanishads, when we engage in the inquiry into that, and when this is revealed, such a person, Jnanam Uttamam Jnanam Jayate, the highest knowledge is attained. The highest knowledge is born. It is a transformative knowledge. The buddhi and the intellect are no longer the same. With the dawn of the knowledge that I am that Brahman, what happens is it burns out all the ignorance, which is the very cause of my suffering, pain and suffering. So, tena atyantika samsara dukkhanashanaha. This knowledge is what? Tena, by this knowledge, atyantika samsara dukkhanashanaha. It is destroyer, nashanaha, of atyantika samsara dukh, not just a little bit sorrow today, sorrow tomorrow, complete cessation of all sorrow born from the samsara. That is atyantika dukkha nivrutti, and in the previous shloka is paramananda prapti. Both of these two shlokas put together is the phala of absolute knowledge. That is what is mentioned in 45 and 44. Atyantika samsara dukkha nivrittihi So negatively, all the sorrows disappears, and positively, Paramananda Prapti. Otherwise, the sorrow ends, but then what? But then there is an absolute attainment of bliss. And this absolute bliss, it is causeless bliss because it is my nature. It is not born out of a conducive object's presence in my life, a conducive situation, a conducive person. It is not dependent on Vastu Vyakti Paristiti. It is independent, it is my own nature. This is the fountain of bliss, the fountain of immortality, is what is said that Bhavati Anuhu. So this is what happens following Anuhu Bhavati. This is what happens. Absolute bliss and complete cessation of samsara. Then I have to continue. How is this Vedanta Vichar to be attained? And that is very nicely talked about over here, that Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogan Mumuksho Mukter Hetun Vakti Sakshat Shruter Gihi Yova Eteshveva Tishthatyamushya Moksha Vidya Kalpitat Deha Bandhat. This very beautiful shloka over here, what it is saying is that this Shrutehe Gihi, Shrutehe, the Shruti Vakya, Gehe, sing, Gihi, the Shruti declares, the Shruti sings, the Shruti reveals, Gihi, she sings. And what does she say? What does Shruti say? Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yoga Mumukshoho. Hey Mumukshu, may you come to acquire Shraddha. First is Shraddha. Then that Shraddha turns into deep reverence. And that Shraddha itself is Bhakti. The superlative degree of absolute faith is devotion. Then Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yoga. Kaivalya Upanishad says, Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogad Avaihi. May you come to attain this self by having faith, developing bhakti and dhyana yoga. Dhyana yoga, when it is said, tam vidyat dukkha sangyogat vyogam yoga sangnitam, Bhagavan Krishna says, the disassociation with the association of sorrow is yoga. When will I disassociate from the association from sorrow? When I know that there is something greater. When I know that I need not suffer. Why am I torturing and tormenting myself? This is a choice of the jiva which starts the inquiry. Where did this sorrow come from? How long will this sorrow sustain? Is there a day when this sorrow will completely disappear? What will I have to do in order for me to get rid of this sorrow of samsara? Why am I dancing to the tunes of the manifested world? Why is it that the objects, certain objects have greater control and power over me? Why is it that some people have greater power and control over me? Why is it that certain situations have power and control over me? This is called vichar. And that vichar, the Shruti reveals to us a path. So she first says that Shraddhasva, come and have faith. Faith that the Shastra is not going to take me for a ride. Have implicit faith in the scripture. Have implicit faith in Guru. Have faith in the process of learning. After all, we have reached this state only by having faith. We had faith that our kindergarten teacher, when she was teaching me A for apple, it really meant A for apple. Who knows, she could have created a fruit of her own. But from kindergarten onwards, 1, 2, 3 counting, we had faith, and because of that faith we learned simple language, simple arithmetic, mathematics, and we kept on growing in our intellectual wealth by having faith in the worldly teacher. Then why not have faith in the spiritual teacher? If I have faith in the science book or history book, and with fascination I read history if I am a history buff, or enter the science Olympiad because I am a science buff, then why not have that faith in Shastra when I know that I no longer want to be subjected to the pangs of time, people, places, situations, everything around me. So Shruti says, Shraddha. This Shraddha is very important. Blessed is a child from a young age who has faith. Faith in doing something which is right. Not just because my mother said so or my father said so, because I know it is right. That child having faith in Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, very simple instructions. Speak the truth, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, walk the path of Dharma. You know, it requires faith to do these things. And that student who has faith, slowly, the faith metamorphoses itself into bhakti. They will feel for plants, animals, people, pain and sorrow of others. Looking at a sunrise and having a spiritual experience. Looking at the moonrise, moonset, and acknowledging the hands of someone mightier than what my eye sees. I see a beautiful landscape of the moon setting in the early hours of the dawn. And this live picture is painted. by someone who is unfathomable. The Purusha Suktam calls Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapad. 1,000 heads, 1,000 eyes, 1,000 hands. One of those hands have painted the Brahma Muhurtam, beautiful picture of the moon set. He may have painted, but the ability in me to remember him through his own painting and having a moment of silence, that is bhakti. Shraddha, bhakti. And when that faith and devotion becomes exalted, Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga, the meditation, may you come to realize this Atma in the sacred chambers of your own Antakarana. When the energy of the mind and intellect is withdrawn from the pluralistic world and the gaze is turned within into a beautiful chamber, the courtyard of mind and intellect, and I remain there with the ideas of Shruti, that is Dhyana Yoga. Dukkha Sanyoga Viyoga. I have my association with the womb of sorrow, this world. Turning away the gaze from it and positively towards the source, that is Dhyan Yogaha Mumukshoho, that Mumuksha Sakshat Muktehe Hetun Vakti. This Sakshat Shruti says, declares that this is Muktehe Hetu. This is the cause of Mukti. Iti Sakshat Shruti Gihi. The Shruti sings, declares. Yahava eteshu eva tishtati amushya moksha avidya kalpita deha bandhat. So, avidya kalpita, born out of ignorance, created out of ignorance, kalpita deha bandhat, the body which binds. Which body? The sthula sharira binds, the subtle sharira also binds. Karana sharira, of course, has the cause, as the very cause of the seeds of future births. All the sharira traya, when we over here Vivekachudamani itself will talk about what are the three bodies, etc., etc. So all of this, he said over here, avidya kalpita deha bandhat, such a person, he will be yaha vai eteshu eva tishtati. He will come to abide in this higher self and self alone, having liberated from the clutches of ignorance. In this way, the person will come to the kingdom of liberation, moksha. They will be liberated. This is what the Shruti declares over here very beautifully. It is talked about. Ajnana yogat paramatmanastava hyanatma bandhastata eva samsrutihi तयोर्विवेकोदितबोधवह्निः अज्ञानकार्यं प्रदहेत समूलम्. Over here, tava, for you, atmanah, this atmanah, ajnana yogat paramatmanah. He anatma bandhuhu tata eva samsrutihi. So, thy absolute nature, paramatmanah, swarupaha, the very nature of this atma, the very nature of this atma as paramananda, ajnana yogat, because of the mind and the intellect diving into this pluralistic world, and this entire pluralistic world born out of ignorance, and when the mind's association with the world of avidya is there, another avidya dawns in the very antakarana, that because I have not found my own nature to be Paramananda, now I choose to make myself complete and happy by possessing that object, by acquiring that object, by having this false notion that this world is capable of giving me joy and happiness. This notion that I will become happier by this person, this object, this situation. That is what is referred to Ajnana Yogat Paramatmanah tava hyanatma bandha tata eva samsrutihi. And because of the union with this false notion, Jagati Satya Buddhi, that the world is real, and then that world is capable of giving me happiness. Shobhana Dhyas, when it is done, oh, this world will give me happiness. Over here, he anatma bandha, because of this association of this anatma vastu, this object, this situation, this person, all that is anatma. What is atma? I, the very subject. And other than the subject, everything is object. An object is something which is objectified. If I have objectified it, then it is not the subject. It is not me. If it is not me, then why am I depending upon it? Tata eva samsrutihi. This itself, this notion, when it goes on over here, that is itself samsrutihi. Samsrutihi, Shankaracharya ji puts it in Bhajgovindam, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. This is called samsruti. Birth and death. Birth, oh, nice family I have, nice money I have. May I have more happiness through more money. For another person, born in a poor home, no money, have to toil day and night for it. Even 5 rupees, that will give me happiness. For the other one, it is 5 billion that gives me happiness. It is just a number that the mind has created out of external circumstances. The one living in the slum is equally Brahman as the one who lives in the palace. This Samsrutihi goes on. Tayoho viveka udita bodha vahnihi. When tayoho viveka, what is tayoho of those two? What those two? Atma and Anatma. Viveka, the Vivek Buddhi, the discrimination which dawns in the intellect, that what is Atma, what is not Atma. Born out of that is, it is called Bodha Vahnihi. It is the fire of knowledge. This fire of knowledge dawns in the very courtyard of mind. Very brilliant fire which burns any experiences which the senses pour into the antakarana, because the antakarana is a inferno of Shuddha Jnana. It just burns, no experience leaves any mark, any tendency, any modification to that antakarana. It has been negated. Bhagavan Krishna says, you think you are killing, but I have already killed them before your arrow can ever kill them. This is the destiny of the universe. We don't know how this whole universe is functioning. All we have to come to know is, I am Atma, bas. We are not the general managers of the universe. Let Ishvara handle that. But if he has created me, and if I've understood by his grace of having a guru in my life who teaches me what is to be known and what is to be dropped, if this much Vivek dawns, then slowly the fire kindles over a period of time. And this Vichara Janita Bodha Vahni itself creates exalted Vairagya. Nothing touches such a person. Ajnana Karyam, the cause and effect, Karana and Karya. Effect is Karya, Karana is cause. And this effect of what? Effect of this samsara is born out of what? Ajnana. To whom is this ajnana? Me, not to the Ishvara or others around. It is affecting me, it is not affecting anybody else. Everybody is happy-go-lucky in their own life. So, this Ajnana Karya, which is none other than Samsrutihi, which is talked about over here, Pradahet Samulam, come to Pradahet, completely burned, Samulam, along with its root. What is the root? Karana. What is Karana? Avidya. The cause is ignorance. Ignorance created the effect of plurality, which is a cause of my pain and suffering. May I come to engage in Vedanta Bodh, the knowledge of, may I come to abide in the knowledge of Vedanta, born out of discrimination between the real and the unreal. And because of this, the samsara is burned down to ashes. This is what is being said over here. Now, questions of the disciple. So the student is asking, Shishya uvacha krupaya shruyatam swamin prashnoyam kriyate maya taduttaramaham shrutva krutarthasyam bhavan mukhat. Krupaya shruyatam swamin prashnoyam kriyate maya taduttaramaham shrutva krutarthasyam bhavan mukhat. The Shishya says, Hey Swamin, O great teacher, Krupaya Shruyatam, you please reveal it to me. Here, Swamin, Krupaya Shruyatam, you please listen. And you please first listen, sorry, Shruyatam, you please listen to me. And Maya Ayam, Maya Kriyate Prashnaha. You please listen to all of these questions which are created in my mind, which my buddhi has. So I have these questions. Tad uttaram aham shrutva, and having heard your reply to these questions, krutarthah syam, I will be fulfilled. Bhavan mukhat, having revealed these answers from thy lotus face and divine mouth, I will become fulfilled, is what the student is saying. Now the next shloka, Gurudev used to make people memorize this. So 7 questions that the student asks. Very important. This is what is to be known in Vedanta. These 7 questions that the student asks, the reply to that is Vivekachudamani. So these 7 questions are very, very important. Gurudev used to say, remember 49, 7 times 7 is 49. So these questions, 7 days a week, 7 questions have to be asked by us daily, and we have to answer them ourselves to get a clear understanding of Vedanta. Ko naam bandhah kathamesha agatah katham pratisthasya katham vimokshah ko savanatma paramakka atma tayor vivekah katham etaducyatam. So, what are the questions? First question, ko nama bandhah. So, what is bondage? Ko nama bandhah, what is bondage? Katham esha agatah, how did this bondage arrive? Katham asya bandhah katham pratishtha, this bondage, how is it sustained? What is its pratishtha? How is it sustained? Then katham vimokshaha, how do I get liberated from it? So 4 we have seen in the first line. Ko nama bandhah kathamesha agata katham pratisthasya katham vimokshah kaha asau anatma. This is the 5th one. what is this anatma vastu? Then the sixth one, paramaka atma, what is the higher self, what is the higher atma? Tayoho vivekaha kathametad uchyatam, what is the discrimination between atma and anatma? Tayoho, of these, what these? This atma and anatma vastu kathametad uchyatam. So how is that to be explained? What is the discrimination between? How does one come to discriminate? How is this discrimination done? Etc. These 7 questions the student is asking. Ko nama bandha, kathamesha agata, katham pratisthasya, katham vimoksha, ko savanatma, paramaka atma, tayoho viveka kathametadutyatam. So, what is bondage? Where does it come from? How is it sustained? What is liberation? Then asau kaha asau anatma, what is this anatma? Paramaka atma, what is this higher self, and what is the discrimination between them? So these are just the questions which are asked, which the student has asked. And now the teacher is intelligent disciple is now the teacher is over here appreciating the student for having these questions. So the teacher-student relationship, it is not just a very as a matter of fact relationship. Even though the teacher very well knows he is absolute, but the teacher realizes that over here he has taken an avatar of a guru. A self-realized soul realizes that not only am I Brahman, but somebody has approached me in this world of avidya. I have negated avidya and its root. The teacher has negated the ignorance and the root cause of ignorance. Everything the teacher has, its effects and the root cause, everything is removed. And the teacher abides in this kevala jnanam. But this plurality which exists, its reality the teacher has negated. The teacher has not negated the manifested reality itself, because that is a projection of the higher. And in that projection there exists a student which is part of that. And the teacher acknowledges the student who has asked this question. And then the teacher over here, looking at the student, is complimenting the student, is appreciating the student that you have come up with good questions. So the teacher very well knows his duty of instructing. Not that but he's abiding in and has negated everything and including any beings. No. The body continues. The teacher also has to eat the food and sustain this body, which is creation of Maya. In his understanding, he has negated, I am not the body. But for the sake of the body to continue its prarabdha, the food has to be put in. What to do? So this is a very proper understanding that the teacher abides in and accepts the intellectual inquisitiveness of the student. Shri Guru Vacha Dhanyosi Krutakrityosi Pavitam te kulam tvaya Yada vidya bandha muktya brahmi bhavati michhasi. So the teacher is saying, te dhanyosi krutakrityosi. Blessed are you, dhanyaha asi krutakritya asi. You are very fulfilled. Now remember, the student has not even yet heard the teacher's upadesh, and the teacher says, krutakrityosi, you are fulfilled. What is this, teacher? You are fulfilled. See, in the very blessings, the benedictive language of the teacher itself creates a bhagya for the student to get Brahma Vidya. In this pluralistic world, to arrive at the feet of right Guru is itself krutakrityosi. Not available gurus are not available like that. This is the very subtle, deeper import about it. So indirectly, by saying krutakrityosi, you are blessed. You've arrived, you had these questions, you've lived a life which is worth living, which is examined, and you came up with 7 questions. What a great blessing. You know that there is something higher, you know something is lower, and that lower is binding. How is it being sustained? You know all these things, so teacher is saying, you, by understanding itself all this, you are fulfilled. Then te kulam tvaya pavitam bhavati. The teacher is saying, by te kulam, your lineage, tvaya pavitam bhavati, just by you being in your lineage, your entire family has become purified, So that is very, very important. The teacher is very nicely saying in Mundaka Upanishad, it is say, Sayohavai tat paramam brahma veda brahmaiva bhavati nastya kule abrahmavid bhavati. That is what is said in Mundaka Upanishad. So teacher is remembering that, wow, what I have studied, I am seeing such a great, this is, Lord Rama is called, Raghukula Tilak. He is the very great Saubhagya, the red anointment on the forehead of the lineage of the Raghukulas. So that is considered to be this Yadukula Tilak, Raghukula Tilak is Lord Rama and Krishna are referred to, and in the same way, the knower of the self, if the boy, the student is from Vishwamitra Gotra, the Tilak goes on the Kula of Vishwamitra. What a great blessing. And Jaimini and so many different Bharadwaj Gotra, all of these, one person in that lineage, it is said that the rishis themselves become so trupta that our reason for composing Shruti has been fulfilled by this one student who has gotten it. So over here, pavityam te kulam tvaya yad avidya bandha muktya by this yad, by avidya, ignorance created, bandha, bondage, muktya, having liberated from it, brahmi bhavati bhavitum ichhasi, you are the desirous of becoming Brahman. You want to become Brahman. Consider it that you have become, like Guruji used to say, you know, those students who are in medical school, they have not yet become doctor, but they wear the white coat and they go to the hospital, and it is not even a full doctor's coat, half coat is there, but the patient sees them like doctor. They are like doctor. They are studying about it, just, you know, matter of moments, step 2 is cleared and they will be doctor. So in that way, O student of Adhyatma Vidya, you have come to a teacher, you are learning this. It is just matter of few moments you will be liberated, is what is saying over here. Because Kathopanishad in other places also, it very beautifully is Ascharyavat Paschit Ascharya Pashyati Kashtidenam Ascharyavat Vadati Thaivachanya Ascharyavat Chainam Anyashrunoti Shrutvapienam Vedana Chaiva Kashchita, Bhagavan says. And then in Kathopanishad, Shravanayapi Bahubhiryona Labhyaha Shrunvantopi Bhavona Vidyuhu Ascharyo Vakta Kushalosya Labdha Ascharyo Jnata Kushalanushishtaha. Kathopanishad, Yamadharma Raj says, Ascharya Shravanayapi Bahubhiryona Labhyaha. It is not available for hearing Atma Vastu. And even after hearing, many don't get it. But one rare Ascharyo Vakta, the teacher of Brahma Vidya, is also wonder of wonder. And then Kushalasya Asya Labdaha, and the one who receives this is a wise one. But wonder of wonder is the student of Brahma Vidya who gets it. And that is why Bhagavan Krishna uses that from, again, Kathopanishad, that Shravanayat over here, Ascharyavat Paschit Kashchadenam. Who comes to know this? Bhagavan Krishna says, wonder of wonder is a speaker of Brahma Vidya, wonder of wonder is the student of Brahma Vidya, wonder of wonder is the dialogue, and wonder of wonder is the student who actually gets this dialogue and is liberated. That is absolute wonder. So in this way, the teacher is saying. We will continue tomorrow. Now this next section, 3 shlokas, 51, 52, 53, Shankaracharya ji talks about the glory of self-effort in this Brahma Vidya. The self-effort is very important. When we put self-effort, only then we come out of this ignorance created bondage. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.